Before you decide what modern warfare looks like, pause for a moment. Because if your understanding of war comes only from short video clips, dramatic headlines, or social media highlights, you are likely missing the real picture. The wars of the 21st century are no longer fought for spectacle. They are fought for endurance. And the conflict in Ukraine is not just another regional war. It has become the most closely observed testing ground for modern warfare on the planet. Many countries are watching from a distance. But Russia is operating inside the experiment itself. This is not a story of heroes and villains. It is a story of adaptation, pressure, and survival in a battlefield that never truly sleeps. By the end of this video, you will understand why modern wars are no longer decided by the most expensive weapons, but by the strategies that last the longest. Modern warfare is often misunderstood because it is judged by what is most visible: fighter jets, precision strikes, advanced technology on display. But visibility is no longer the center of gravity. The Russia-Ukraine war shows that modern conflict is less about dominance in a single moment and more about maintaining pressure over time. Territorial movement still matters, but endurance matters more. What is unfolding in Ukraine is not a race for rapid victory, but a sustained contest of adaptation, where survival, logistics, and industrial capacity define success. This war is often described as a regional conflict, but in reality, it has become the largest real-world laboratory for modern warfare. Militaries around the world are observing it closely, not to copy individual tactics, but to understand how modern wars behave when they do not end quickly. Russia is not observing from the outside. It is operating inside this environment, adjusting its methods under real combat conditions, where theory meets attrition. One of the most common misconceptions is that modern warfare is about constantly showcasing advanced systems. Russia's approach suggests something different. Rather than relying on daily demonstrations of high-end platforms, its strategy emphasizes survivability, repetition, and cost control. This is not about refusing technology. It is about using technology selectively. In modern warfare, restraint is not weakness. It is a form of discipline. Many observers ask the same question: why does Russia rely so heavily on drones? The answer is often misunderstood. Drones are not a substitute for capability. They are a multiplier of efficiency. In this war, drones function simultaneously as reconnaissance tools, precision strike platforms, and sources of continuous psychological pressure. Long-range drones test and exhaust air defenses. FPV drones deliver precision at minimal cost. Reconnaissance drones ensure artillery operates with information, not assumptions. This is not emotional warfare. It is economic warfare conducted through the air. Every time a low-cost system forces an opponent to activate expensive defenses, an imbalance is created. Over time, those imbalances accumulate. Modern wars are no longer decided by a single decisive strike. They are decided by who can continue operating when resources begin to thin, supply chains are strained, and replacement becomes harder than deployment. In this sense, the battlefield extends far beyond the front line. It reaches factories, logistics hubs, and national endurance itself. Another frequent assumption is that Russia avoids constant use of its most advanced systems because of limitation. The reality is more complex. High-end weapons in modern warfare serve a strategic function beyond combat. They shape escalation boundaries. Their presence influences decision-making even when they are not deployed daily. In this framework, military power is not only about use, but about control, controlling when, how, and whether escalation occurs. Modern warfare also transforms how casualties are experienced. Losses are no longer concentrated only in large, visible battles. Instead, pressure is constant. Soldiers operate under persistent surveillance. No position feels entirely safe. Psychological strain becomes an invisible weapon. Many impacts of war do not end on the battlefield. They continue long after the fighting moves elsewhere. For civilians, modern warfare rarely arrives all at once. It unfolds through the degradation of systems: power, water, healthcare, education. When infrastructure weakens, the consequences appear slowly. In disrupted lives, long-term instability, and generations shaped by uncertainty rather than normalcy. History shows that wars rarely end when one side loses a single battle. They end when one side loses the ability to continue. Russia's approach reflects a long-standing strategic culture built around endurance rather than speed. In modern warfare, the most decisive weapon is not a single system, but the ability to adapt without collapsing. What we are witnessing in Ukraine is not just a conflict between two states. It is a clear signal of how warfare has changed and how future conflicts may unfold far from the images we are used to seeing. This is not about who appears strongest on screen, but about who can adapt, endure, and manage escalation without letting it spiral out of control. Understanding this does not mean supporting war. It means recognizing the mechanisms that drive it. So decisions are not made blindly, and narratives are not consumed without context. As always, this analysis is presented to inform, not to persuade. The goal is clarity, not outrage, not celebration, and not fear. Because in the modern era, the most dangerous misunderstanding is believing that war still works the way it used to.